I thought their crew and their...
They haven't been here in 16 years, why would they come tonight?
Yeah, well, you know, Susan's getting out while the good's going. She's retiring in the next few months.
Okay, let's call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. I'll have the clerk please call the roll.
Supervisor Fountain?
Here.
Treasurer Horning?
Here.
Clerk Jokes? Here. Trustee Collier?
Here.
Trustee Germain?
Here.
Trustee Harper?
Here.
Trustee Petrucci?
Here.
Thank you. Item number 4 is approval of our agenda.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Treasurer Horning, second by Trustee Kalani. Any discussion? Being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Call to the public. Nobody here this evening for call to the public. We'll move on to item number 6, approval of our consent agenda.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Trustee Kalani, second by Trustee Harper. Any discussion? Being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. We have no pending new business tonight. We will be going into a closed session here after this meeting. And we start with board reports. Our first meeting in August is Trustee Kalani.
I have nothing to report, but I wanted to just, I don't know if it's the time is right to do this. I'd rather do it closer to November, but I wanted to say to everybody, it's been a pleasure serving with all of you and a number of the previous people who have been here, Larry Hopkins, rest in peace, and all the other folks. This has just been the last 16 years of serving the township has, and that's what I look at it, and we don't talk about service anymore like we do. We talk it in other terms, but serving the public has been a real joy for me to be part of this group. I work with a lot of municipal bodies, and I will tell you that this group here, with all our experience and what we bring to the table, the professionalism that we have here, I will tell you, this is second to none, this group of people here. Second to none. I've worked, and I don't name them, but in different counties, I've gone to city councils, and I will tell you, I've sat and I've watched the dysfunction on boards. You know it right away when the lawyer is speaking more than the council folks on issues of policy. It's and I remember a time when I wasn't on the board that this township was just like that, where Mike Homier spent 2.5, 3 hour, 4 hour meetings with the board that existed prior to this board coming on, and having to referee a lot of things, answer questions on the fly, and it was a dysfunction that I witnessed as a planning commissioner. It's what made me decide I wanted to become a township trustee and join the township board, because I was just seeing how bad government can be when you don't have a cohesive board that doesn't always agree, but uses the skills that they've been, through experience or education or what have you, and brings that to the table. And every one of these people on this board, and the people we serve that are out there, you folks too, you're always the same people that show up at everything. Whether it be, Partners in Progress, the Winterfest, you take time out of your family to come and do something like this. I had someone once tell me, and I know my time is limited, but he asked me, he goes, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to be a township trustee or serve on a city council? It's just a thankless job. All you do is hear people complain and they're so forth. And I said, what are you talking about? It's the best thing one of the best things I can leave in terms of a legacy. I feel that I've grown as a township politician, trustee, whatever you want to call it, but I've also grown as a person. And so I just want to tell you guys, I think this is, I will tell you, I've been around a lot of boards, and from counties up in Gratiot to Berrien and areas throughout, and I will tell you, this board is a very, we have been very fortunate to have the cohesiveness that we've had. So I just want to thank you, because I'm going to miss, our sparring on certain issues, and certainly that, but more importantly, we talked about policy, and that doesn't get talked about anymore. Policy is the essence of government. It's developing what is good policy for the people that you serve, and we set priorities in our budget based on those policies and those priorities. And I think we've done a pretty good job. We've got a healthy fund balance. I don't know what the story is being told out in the community, but we have a healthy fund balance, nearly double, which is more than what our auditors require us to do. We've got a healthy capital improvement budget. Every year we put money into our budget so that we can do the things that other communities can't and won't do. We have beautiful parks that create a sense of place in this community. We've developed our business community right along with that, in partnership with our business community, at least certain businesses in the community, some of them who've chosen not to participate in the growth of our community the way they should. But in the end, I just want to tell you, thank you, Matt, thank you, everybody on the board, because it's been a pleasure. I'm sorry I won't be around to kick around sometimes when I get a little, but anyway.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks.
Matthew?
Nothing this evening.
Thank you. Glenn?
Well, I just would like to agree with everything that Joe just said, and I'm not going to repeat all that. But I do want to thank you for bringing me into this board. It was a vacancy that you guys allowed me to start off and maintain, position here. And I really, truly believe that everybody on this board really thinks a lot about the community. We put the community first. We think about the businesses, our decisions, our impacts on the businesses. I think you guys have done a great job. I appreciate it, you allowing me to be a part of that. I will miss it, and I just wish everybody the good luck, and I hope, if God wills it, that the two new trustees will blend in and look at the big picture, look at the township, be respectful of the work that already has been done, and keep working to keep this township a great township. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. Joe?
Well, I just want to say that you two lost a primary election, but you haven't died. And this township still needs you. And we need you on different capacities. There's all kinds of boards and committees and things that you can be very, very, very helpful for this community. And I want you just to both of you keep that in mind. And I just need to make one little correction, that it could possibly still be 3 new trustees, because we have a general election. And last night when I went to sleep, I thought that I was the 3rd. And I woke up and it was different. I don't know what happened, but whatever happened, I'm happy for her. But I just want you guys to know that there is a place for you in this community. As you know, being on this board is not just coming to 2 meetings a month. There's a lot more involved with it. I hope that whoever the new trustees are come November, that they understand that it's not just 1 or 2 hours a month coming to a board meeting. It's all the committees that you're on. It's all the other boards that you're involved with. And there's hours upon hours and late nights involved in committee meetings and investigations that you have to do in order to come here and to make decisions. You've all been part of that. Glenn, I know how you've been on the Fire Authority board with me, and the committees that you've served on that board. And Joe with the Planning Commission and other boards and committees. It's an enormous amount of hours and times away from your family that you spend here for this community. And whoever gets on this board better realize that, because it's not just coming to a meeting. There's a whole lot involved with it. And it's going to be a shame that we don't have you both on this board. We're going to miss you. And I hope that I don't join you, but who knows? We'll find out in November. But it was a pleasure dealing with both of you on this, and I'm going to miss our arguments that the two Italians got into in a lot of our work sessions, but at least for the next few months, we can still do that, Joe. So,
Thank you, Joe. Larry?
Just to reiterate, we still have several months of work that we can still do here, so I'm going to save my thanks for the wonderful work that Glenn and Joe have both done till a later point in time. So with that, I'd like to just give a little update on the election, just some statistics. Countywide turnout was 38%. Heartland Township turnout was 43%. We had 3,100 absent voters and 1,900 at the polls. We had 532 AV ballots that did not come back. We have a permanent absentee list that we had of 1,600 people when we started. It is now 3,600 based on the forms that the state sent out. So we will be sending out AV applications to 3,600 people for any election going forward. I do want to thank the chairs and the election workers for the fine job they did last night, given the circumstances. And I really, really would like to thank the voters that showed up at the polls. 99% of them wore their masks, did a good job at trying to maintain social distancing. Anybody that came and voted at the polls, I have great thanks for taking the safety precautions that you did. So that's all.
I have a question for, can I ask it?
Sure.
Yep.
When the votes were counted, and it shows the totals, and then there's one line item that says undervotes. Is the undervote, does that mean that people that turned out didn't vote for certain categories? They just either didn't do it, or they
Yes.
didn't see it, or whatever? Is that what that means?
Yes, the undervote is if he didn't vote for anybody in that particular
on the
race.
trustee side, it was something like 2,800 undervotes. And what's disturbing to me about that is the fact that, well, a good friend of mine who was a former U.S. congressman for our area, Mike Rogers, once told me that being a trustee is a lot more difficult than being a congressman, because when we make decisions, and we have to make sometimes uncomfortable decisions, we're dealing with our neighbors and our families, and we see these people face to face. So local politics is very important, and why people don't follow through and vote the whole ballot is beyond me, because the most important part of that hits them right at home is at the end of the ballot. And I just wanted to make that that thought come out. It's something that's bothered me for a while. I just wanted to verify what I thought that undervote meant, and then just give you my opinion on. I think it's important that people look at the whole ballot and vote the whole ballot, because that last part is so important to them.
Yeah, because I was standing to the side waiting for Mark to get done, and I heard the guy say, it brings up your error. If you have an error and you put your ballot in, you have an error, it kicks back out. And he said, oh, you only voted the front. And he goes, that's all I wanted. And he put it through, so he didn't even turn it over.
Yeah,
You know?
it makes no sense to me, but people vote that way.
Larry, I do got a question for Larry. If some of those ballots that did not come back, if they're postmarked yesterday and they show up?
No.
They don't?
There is some legislation that's being discussed for that, but as it stands right now, if you don't have your ballot in here by 8 o'clock on election day, it does not count.
Okay, and the post office didn't do any extra deliveries on that day?
Post office has a program that is supposed to identify election mail. They help to design the envelope for return ballots with the Secretary of State, so they're supposed to give election mail high priority, and I personally feel they do a good job of it. So.
Larry, for simple-minded people like me, do you know what percentage of absentee ballots were requested that were not returned? I think you said the number was about 580, but is that 20% of the total, or?
That was 580 of the 3,600 we sent out.
So it's
There
a
were
fairly good return
11,000,
rate.
yeah, there were 11,000 people that got an application for a ballot, and only 3,900 of them returned that application. We sent out 3,900 ballots, and we got the 3,200 back. So there were like 500, it's all rounding numbers, but there were like 540 that did not return a ballot.
So due to the state's, the Secretary of State's decision to send absentee ballot applications to everybody, you had to process at least 2 to almost 3 times as many as normal. Is that
Yes.
true?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. My only topic tonight, I talked to Bob just recently, and he said that the large item cleanup is still on for September 19th. I believe that's from 10 to 2? 9 a.m. to 2, okay. So there'll be information on our website for that, and it's still, and it's all going to be spaced out, and you mentioned that you might not even have to get, people might not even have to get out of their car. You're going to try to do everything.
We'll have a plethora of PPE for all the workers and whatnot, and we will encourage patrons to not even get out of their car.
Okay.
We're going to minimize contact and maximize social distance.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else for a regular meeting? Oh, I'm sorry, Kathy. Sure.
I'll save my talk about Glenn and Joe for a later date, too. But I do want to say that the farmers market is fantastic this year. I don't know whether it's because of COVID and people don't want to go grocery shopping or what, but the market has more vendors and more people, and fresh meat and produce and honey and eggs and baked goods, and you name it, it's at the market. And it's just a fantastic thing every Saturday from 9 to 2 in the Rural King parking lot right behind Burger King.
And does that go through October?
Goes through mid-October.
Mid-October. Very good. Now, is there anything else from anybody? Being none, we'll take a brief recess, and we'll go into our closed session. We're going to stay here. Yeah, because Mike Homier is going to be...
Hey, Susan, can you grab the door? Close the door.
Well, now, the bond was.
Sorry about that, Kathy.
Kathy, how do you feel about this at this time? This project?
Well, I think Mayberry's ready to move forward.
I'm not sure that's allowed.